You're lying on your back in the dark, and it's the middle of the night. No phone glow, no streetlight through the curtain, just breathing beside you, embers dying orange in a pit a few feet away, and your eyes wide open. You are wide awake, and you have no idea why. You didn't have a nightmare. You're not sick. Your brain simply decided it was time to surface. And for most of human history, that wasn't a malfunction. It was Tuesday. Right now, you sleep in one block. Lights off, phone down, 8 hours, alarm if you wake at 2 a.m. You call it insomnia and reach for melatonin. So how did the people who came before electricity, before clocks, before streetlights, before the 8-hour block was even invented, actually spend their nights? In 2001, historian A. Roger E. Kirk at Virginia Tech published research built on 16 years of digging through diaries, court depositions, and medical texts. He found something startling embedded in the language itself: hundreds of casual references to a first sleep and a second sleep. One of the earliest was a 1697 London court record, a 9-year-old girl testifying that her mother rose after her first sleep to run an errand, and was later found dead outside. Kirk eventually cataloged over 500 such references. The pattern was so ordinary, nobody thought to explain it. People slept roughly 4 hours, woke for an hour or more in the dead of night, and slept again until dawn. So what did they do in that gap? Everyone assumes it was just lying there, staring at a ceiling, waiting for sleep to come back. The truth is almost the opposite. That waking hour was one of the most socially active windows of the day. People got up. They tended embers, said prayers, had sex, visited neighbors, even committed the occasional bit of petty theft, according to Kirk's own record. It wasn't wasted time. It was scheduled time, just scheduled by biology instead of a clock. But go back further than court records, further than candlelight, and you hit a harder question. Before first sleep and second sleep even had names, what were nights like before beds, before doors, before walls? That answer starts with fire. In December 2025, archaeologist Rob Davis of the British Museum and his team announced the excavation of a hearth in Barnham, Suffolk, dated to roughly 415,000 years ago, the oldest confirmed fire-making site on Earth. It wasn't campfire ash from a lightning strike. Beside it lay 2 fragments of iron pyrite, a mineral that throws sparks when struck against flint. That's not opportunism. That's a fire-starting kit, carried on purpose. Davis's team didn't stop at they could make fire. They asked what fire did to the night itself. His conclusion: the campfire became the world's first social hub. Before artificial light, human activity stopped at sunset. Full stop. No exceptions. Same as every other daylight animal. Fire broke that rule for the first time in the history of life on this planet. So what changed once the fire broke that rule? 9,000 kilometers away, and roughly 115,000 years later, at Chesem Cave in Israel, Tel Aviv University archaeologist Ron Barkai uncovered a hearth dated to around 300,000 years ago, 4 square meters wide, rebuilt and reused again and again in the exact same spot at the center of the cave. Not scattered ash from a dozen random fires. One deliberate, permanent location, generation after generation. Barkai has called it, plainly, the first fireplace, a fixed point that pulled the group inward every single evening, whether or not anyone was cold or cooking. Here's where it gets strange, though. You'd assume that pulling a group around a fire every night was mainly about warmth and safety. Actually, researchers now think the bigger effect was on the brain. Anthropologist Robin Dunbar's cross-cultural fireside research draws a sharp line. Daytime talk among hunter-gatherers is functional, who found food where the herd moved. Nighttime talk, by firelight, is social, stories, myth, gossip, emotional repair. 2 completely different conversations, running on 2 completely different schedules, and one of them only existed after dark. So firelight didn't just extend the day. It invented a third kind of time. Not day, not night, but something new stitched in between, built entirely for talking. Here's a problem, though. None of this explains how anyone slept safely at all. A sleeping human is a blind, deaf, defenseless human, and the savannah and forest at night were not empty. Anthropologist David Sampson's 2017 study of the Hadza, hunter-gatherers in Tanzania, tracked 33 people for 393 nights using wearable activity monitors. The number that should stop you: across every recorded night, the group was fully, simultaneously asleep for a combined total of 18 minutes. Not 18 minutes a night, 18 minutes across the entire 20-day core sample. 1 or more adults were awake and alert during more than 99% of every observed night. Nobody assigned a night watch. There was no schedule pinned to a tree. It emerged automatically from ordinary variation in when different people naturally feel sleepy, what sleep scientists call chronotype. Night owls stayed alert while early risers slept, and early risers woke while the night owls finally dropped off. The tribe was never told to build a security rotation. Their own biology built one for free. So the sentinel wasn't a person. It was the group itself, staggered by design nobody designed. And that reframes almost everything this video has covered. The fire wasn't only for warmth. The wakeful hour wasn't a broken sleep cycle. The mismatched bedtimes weren't a flaw in the system. Every one of those problems was doing a second job, keeping the group fed on information, emotionally bonded, and physically guarded. All while everyone thought they were simply lying awake in the dark. Picture that gap again, the one you started with. Eyes open at 2 a.m. Embers glowing a few feet away, someone breathing steadily beside you. For most of human history, that exact moment wasn't something to fix. It was built in on purpose. One small shift of firelight and half sleep passed down for 400,000 years. Somewhere along the way, we traded the fire circle for a mattress in a locked room, and traded the shared night watch for a single body doing all the watching alone. We didn't get worse sleepers. We just started sleeping without each other. And the quiet at 2 a.m. is what's left where the conversation used to be.